Protein, new topic.
So will you share the notes also for the participants?
Sorry,
Notes.
notes. Yeah, notes of today's class I will also share in group.
No,
Till
yesterday class is actually.
yesterday class notes I already shared. Are you asking notes of yesterday class?
Yes, sir.
I already shared those notes. Two PPTs were there. First one is carbohydrate first. That was named as carbohydrate 1. In that PPT, there is differentiation of carbohydrate and some other things. In other PPT, there is metabolism of carbohydrate. So I shared both PPTs, and that balanced diet PPT I also shared. You can check in group.
Okay.
The screen is visible. Okay, so this is our today's topic, protein. This is very much important topic, even in our daily life. Protein is very much important, and this is the only nutrient. This is the only drawback of having a vegetarian meal. If you are having a vegetarian meal, I'm not saying that in vegetarian meal you can't get total protein, but if you are following a vegetarian diet, then you should have complete knowledge of this protein. If you are a vegetarian and you are not having complete knowledge of this protein, ultimately there will be protein deficiency in your body, because protein is not present in vegetarian source, protein is not present in plant source up to that extent is present in animal source. So there are also very harmful effect of taking protein from animal source, but they are not having protein deficiency. They are having many other condition like increased urea or increased cholesterol level. But as far as vegetarian people are considered, they are more prone to protein deficiency. So if you are vegetarian, it is very much important to know about protein, how to complete protein from a vegetarian diet, and what should be the protein requirement for our body. So let's start today's topic. Protein are the most abundant biological macromolecule. Most abundant biological macromolecule. This means protein are present everywhere. If we talk in our body may have some amount of carbohydrate, but if we talk about glycogen, it's only around 600 gram. But our whole bodies consist of protein, whether you talk about our hairs, whether you talk about our nails, our muscles, everything is made up of protein. Similarly, in plant also, most of the things are made up of protein. In animals also, most of the things made up of protein and fat. So protein are most abundant biological molecule occurring in all cells and all part of cells. So just like monosaccharide are building blocks of carbohydrate, just like a cell is a building block of our body, similarly amino acid are building blocks of protein. Protein is made up of amino acid. Okay, Usha ma'am, I already made you host. You can join if anyone comes late. So amino acid are building block of protein. These protein are made up of amino acid. There are various type of amino acid, and with the conjunction of all these amino acid, various type of protein are formed. All protein, whether from the most ancient lines of bacteria or from the most complex form of life, that is us, are constructed from the same set of 20 amino acid. So total number of amino acid are 20. 20 amino acid are there, and with the help of these 20 amino acid, every protein got formed, whether it is protein of our muscle, of our hair. If we just break down that protein, if we just hydrolyze that protein, we will found only these 20 amino acids. Okay, from these building blocks, different organism can make such widely diverse product as enzyme, hormones, antibodies, transporters, muscle fiber, the lens protein of eye, feathers, spider web, rhino horn, milk protein, antibiotics, mushroom poison. All these substances are made up of protein. You have any doubt? Okay, if you don't have any doubt, you can just turn off your microphone. Okay, all these are made up of protein. Like, for example, we have enzymes in our body. Can you name some enzymes of our body?
Saliva.
Yeah, saliva. In saliva, which enzyme is present?
Salivary amylase.
Salivary amylase or ptyalin. So all the enzymes that plays an important role in digestion, they are made up of protein. That's why protein have a very specific temperature range to work. Like protein is very much sensitive to temperature and pH. pH means acidity or basic nature of something. So protein is very much sensitive to temperature and pH. If a protein is designed to work in a specific interval of temperature, we can say it 35 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. But and if we take that protein to 40 degrees Celsius, it won't work properly. So that's why in fever we lost our appetite, because in fever our body temperature increased. That increase in body temperature cause decrease in protein working, because in our body also protein has very sensitive range to work. So when our body temperature got increased, protein can't work in that temperature, so our food takes much time to digest, and that's why we don't want to eat much food when we have fever. Our appetite got down. So this is just an example that enzymes are also made up of protein. Hormones, have you read about endocrine system? Have you completed that system?
Yes, sir.
Endocrine system. So endocrine system, now tell me which hormones are made up of protein and which hormones are made up of steroid fat. Two types of hormones are there now. Protein hormone. Protein hormones are known as peptide hormone. And the other category of hormone are made up of fat, cholesterol. Those are known as steroid hormone. You know about this?
Steroid hormones are secreted by the adrenal glands.
Yeah, hormones of adrenal glands. Those are like steroid hormones. All the remaining hormones, or can say most of the remaining hormones, like hormones of our thyroid gland, hormones of our pituitary gland, those are mostly peptide hormone. Peptide hormone are those hormones that are made up of this amino acid, this protein. So you can note down this homework. Please get it done by tomorrow. Like, make a list of all the hormone and categorize those hormone into peptide hormone and steroid hormone. It is very much important.
If I'm right, it is glucagon, insulin, growth hormone, all these things are protein hormones, right, sir?
Growth hormone, yeah, all these hormone are
Insulin, growth hormone, and thyroid stimulating hormone, vasopressin,
yeah,
follicle stimulating hormone, oxytocin. All these things are protein hormones, right, sir?
yeah, all these are protein hormone. Some hormones of adrenal gland and like testosterone, these hormone are steroid hormones. So just make a list, as many hormone as you know, just make a list, and you can just make a list of steroid hormone. Steroid hormones are less in our body. You can just make a list of steroid hormone So if you are just remembering steroid hormone, you automatically can take the protein hormone if it comes in exam. Okay, next, antibodies. Antibodies are also made up of protein. Ig antibodies are written as Ig, and full form of this Ig is immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin. So this antibody is made up of protein, immunoglobulin. Three types of protein are present in our blood. What are those three types of protein? First one is globulin. Second one is albumin. And third one is, you had completed circulatory system now?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, first one is globulin, second one is albumin, third one is fibrinogen. All these are blood protein. Three types of protein in blood are there. So you can write it down. So also write the function of all these protein. Globulin protein are involved in defense mechanism. That's why antibodies are known as immunoglobulin. It is a type of globulin protein. Just note it down. Second one is albumin protein. Albumin protein is responsible for making the osmolarity of our blood. Making osmolarity. In simple words, you can understand like these protein govern the amount of water in our blood, whether our blood should have more water, whether it should have less water. These all things are governed by this albumin protein. And two or three minerals are also there. You can also write it down. First one is sodium, other one is chlorine, and third one is potassium. Osmolarity, that is osmotic concentration of our blood. Concentration of water in our blood is determined by this albumin protein, along with three main minerals were there: sodium, chlorine, and potassium. Why I am telling this? Because in previous exam question were there on this albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. So you can note it down and you can just remember this. Fibrinogen are involved in clotting mechanism. So in clotting, one blood protein is involved, that is fibrinogen, and one mineral is also involved. Can you name that mineral? That is calcium, Ca2 plus. So write down about these three types of protein. Next one is transporter. You know about
What are the three minerals that you told about clotting?
okay. In clotting, fibrinogen protein plays an important role. Along with that, calcium. Calcium also helps in clotting. If you read about that clotting mechanism, first calcium ion got released, and there is certain steps like fibrinogen converts in fibrin, and many steps were there. But you can remember calcium and fibrinogen are involved in clotting. Sodium, chlorine, and potassium. These are involved in osmolarity, osmotic concentration of blood, along with albumin, and globulin are involved in defense mechanism. Any doubt?
No, sir. Isn't vitamin K also involved in?
Yeah. Vitamin K is also involved in this clotting. It is not directly involved, but is vitamin K concentration are responsible for amount of calcium in our blood muscles. So you can also write vitamin K. Okay, very good. Next, transporter. Transporter means something which transport something in our body from here to there. So can you name any transporter? A very famous transporter we have hemoglobin. Sorry,
Neuron, sir. Blood, we won't say a son.
your voice is not clear actually.
Travel.
Okay, can anyone else tell what she's saying?
Understand, sir.
Okay, you can type, ma'am. Actually, your voice is not that clear. Okay, this is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a type of blood protein that involves in transportation of oxygen. In muscle fiber, there is also two protein are present. So just write the name of two protein that are present in muscle fiber. I will write it here. You can make proper notes. Actin and myosin. Actin and myosin. These two protein are involved in muscle contraction mechanism. So in muscle fiber, two protein are present, actin and myosin. Yeah, blood is main transporter, right? Okay, next, lens protein of eye, that is also made up of protein, feathers, spider webs, horn, milk proteins, and antibiotics, mushroom protein. All these are also protein. But just write about these all protein: actin, myosin, globulin, albumin, fibrinogen. UGC can ask question on these protein. There are many things. Actually, it is not possible to add all these things in slide. You don't remember everything in a single instant. So I will try to clear maximum thing. Okay, amino acid. So let's talk about amino acid. Amino acid are basic functional, or we can say basic structural unit of protein. Protein are made up of amino acid, and each amino acid is joined to its adjacent amino acid by a covalent bond, and name of that bond is peptide bond. So for example, this is one amino acid, this is another amino acid. These two amino acid will be joined by a bond, and name of this bond is peptide bond. Okay, protein can be broken down or protein can be hydrolyzed into its
Kindly
consistency.
repeat the peptide bond. Am I audible? Peptide bond, kindly repeat, sir.
You want me to repeat this bond name?
No, why it is called. It is like my definition.
Uh, this peptide bond definition. Okay, sorry, ma'am. Actually, I'm not getting your audio properly.
Asking for the definition of what a peptide bond is.
Okay, peptide bond. Peptide bond. I didn't told you any definition. Peptide bond is a bond which is present between two peptide molecule, means between two amino acid. So between two amino acid, this bond is present, and this bond is known as peptide bond. Name of this bond is peptide bond. I have not given any definition. Okay, when there is hydrolysis of protein, it will be broken down into free amino acid, and there are total 22 amino acid. Now, before I told you there are 20 amino acid, now it's written there are 22 amino acid. Okay, then what's the difference? Why there is 20 and Here it is written 22. The difference is that there are two amino acids, selenocysteine and pyrrolysine. These two amino acids are not present in nature. These two amino acids, you can also say these two are artificial amino acids. These are not present in nature. These are not present in any living organism, not produced naturally. So as a whole, till now there are 22 amino acids are present, out of which two amino acids are not natural. So natural occurring amino acids are 20 amino acids are there. So other all natural occurring 20 amino acids are biologically essential. They are essential for growth of any organism. All these 20 amino acids are important. That's why they are written as biologically essential. These two amino acids are not present in any biological entity, any creatures and all. So these two are not biologically important. Is it clear? Okay, now let's talk about essential and non-essential amino acid. So amino acid can be divided into two categories. One category of amino acid consists of those amino acid which we can synthesis on our own. One category of amino acid consists of those amino acid which we can synthesis, our body can synthesis, and the other category which we can't synthesis. So our body can synthesis these 11 amino acid. Out of 20, our body can only synthesis these 11 amino acid, and 9 amino acid our body can't synthesis. So these 9 amino acid are very much important to have in diet. So these 9 amino acid are known as essential amino acid. Why we are calling these essential? Because these are very much essential to be included in diet, else there will be deficiency in our body. But these 11 amino acid, as our body is already producing these 11 amino acid, so it is not compulsory to include these 11 amino acid in diet. That's why these are known as non-essential amino acid. Again, I'm not saying that these are not important, these are important. These two both are important, but as these are being synthesized in our body, there is no need to take these amino acid in diet. But these 9 amino acid are very much important to be included in diet. Is it clear? Okay, is there any doubt in this? Okay. So this is list of essential amino acid and non-essential amino acid. Non-essential amino acid are alanine, arginine, asparagine, aspartic acid, cysteine, glutamic acid, glutamine, glycerine, proline, serine, tyrosine. Essential amino acids are histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. So please remember the name of all these amino acids. You can do one thing: essential amino acids are less, essential amino acids are just 9. You can remember name of these essential amino acids. By that, you can tick whether UGC give name of non-essential, whether UGC name of essential amino acid in exam. If you just remember all these, you can answer in your exam. And it is very much important. Almost 2-3 times UGC asked about choose the essential amino acid or choose the non-essential amino acid. So just remember the name of these essential amino acid anyhow. Okay, general molecular structure of amino acid. So as I told you, carbohydrate is made up of three minerals: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These three elements form carbohydrate. But if we talk about protein, there is one more element, that is nitrogen. So protein is the only nutrient. Protein is the only biomolecule in which nitrogen is present and that we take in our food. So if anyone is having some problem in his nitrogen balance, if anyone is having increased level of nitrogen, is anyone having decreased level of nitrogen, all problems arise because of protein. This nitrogen comes only from protein in our body. So protein is made up of four uh, elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. General formula of an amino acid. General formula of an amino acid is like that. Okay, first there is a carbon atom, then there is a amine group, NH2. This is known as amine group. You can write amine group. And this is also there, C double bond O single bond OH. This is known as aldehyde group. This is aldehyde group. And there will be one methyl group. So in protein, three groups were there. One is amine group, one is aldehyde group. You can, if you have not remembered the structure of all these aldehyde, all these amine and all, ketone and all, you can just remember it because only three groups are there. NH2, this is amine group. C double bond O single bond OH. This is aldehyde group, and there is one more R is written here. It is methyl group. Methyl group is just contain of carbon and hydrogen. It can be CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2. It can be any number of carbon like CH3, CH2, or CH3, CH2, CH2, or it can be CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2. It can be any number of carbon atom, and this chain will be like this. So should I repeat the structure of amino acid once more, or you all get it?
Please repeat it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is central carbon atom. With the central carbon atom, a NH2 group is joined. This NH2 group is known as amine group. In your exam, it can be called as NH2 group, it can be called as amine group. And with this carbon atom, there is also one another group. That group is chemically written as C double bond O. This O is oxygen and single bond OH. So this whole group, C double bond O single bond OH, this whole group is known as aldehyde group. And one more group is there. This is known as methyl group. It is represented by R. So R can be a long chain of hydrogen and carbon. It can be CH2, sorry, CH3, CH2, CH2, or it can be 5 carbon chain. It can be 8 carbon chain. R is methyl group. carbon chain group. I will write it here, methyl or carbon chain group. So this is general structure of a amino acid. In this amino acid, this is aldehyde group, this is methyl group, this is amine group. So you have to remember name of these all group. Most important, this amine group. This is speciality of this amino acid molecule. Aldehyde group is also present in fat and also present in carbohydrates sometimes. But this amine group is only present in your protein. So in our body, there in our urine, the major waste product is urea or uric acid. So from where this urea and uric acid got produced, if our body is utilizing protein, then how our body utilize that protein? For utilization of that protein, our body sometimes shed off this amine group. So this amine group got separated from an amino acid and it formed urea, NH3. This is formula of urea. So urea and uric acid, these both are get formed from just protein. Protein is responsible for production of urea and production of uric acid. There is a test, BUN test. It is known as blood urea nitrogen test. This test tells us about amount of urea nitrogen in our blood. So if anyone is having large amount of urea and large amount of nitrogen in blood than usual, then he have to limit his protein intake. Actually, many people, what happens, the vegetarian community, there is deficiency of protein. And in non-vegetarian community, if they are also taking some protein shake and all, their urea and nitrogen actually rise in their blood. There will be a deposition of nitrogen, there will be a deposition of urea. People who are taking non-veg from a long period of time, certainly their BUN test will be higher than normal. So these people should limit their protein intake. Okay. So this is structure of amino acid. Now these are different type of protein present in our body. You can read this on your own. I will just mark some important points which we already also discussed. Hormones. Some hormones are made up of protein. These hormones are ACTH and insulin. These hormones are made up of protein. Some enzymes, all the enzymes that are responsible for digestion, all are made up of protein. Nucleoprotein. Nucleoprotein means our DNA has a structure like this. This is structure of our DNA. To keep this structure stable, there are certain proteins. There are certain proteins which help in stabilization of these structure. These protein are known as nucleoprotein. One example of this nucleoprotein is histone. Another example is protamine. So just remember the name of these protein. Histone and protamine are example of nucleoprotein because they help to stabilize our genetic material, our nucleic material. Contractile protein. Contractile protein, as I told you already, contractile protein are protein that are found in our muscle. Actin and myosin are two contractile protein, and this is very much important. These two protein are only responsible for contraction of muscle. When you read about muscular system, when you read about how there is contraction of muscle, there you will know about this actin and myosin protein. Blood protein. In blood, three main protein are there. First one is globulin, second one is albumin, third one is fibrinogen. These three protein are mostly found in our blood. Some other protein are hemoglobin, lipoprotein. Lipoprotein we will study in fat. Lipoprotein is a conjugation of protein and fat. So we will study this in fat. Transferrin, serum albumin, and immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin Okay, immunoglobulin, you can note it down. Immunoglobulin are blood protein that are responsible in defense mechanism. It is represented by Ig, antibody. We also call it as antibody. So there are 5 types of antibody: IgM, IgA, IgD, IgG, and IgE. These are 5 types of antibody: IgM, IgA, IgD, IgG, and IgE. These are 5 types of immunoglobulin. These are 5 types of antibody. So specific protein, some protein also have specific functions in our body. Like first one is tryptophan. Tryptophan is already a protein, and with this protein, our body can synthesize some other protein, niacin and serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone, and niacin is a vitamin. So, with the help of this tryptophan, our body can produce this niacin and this serotonin. Methionine supplies liable methyl group for synthesizing chlorine, which prevent accumulation of fat in liver. So in simple words, this methionine is responsible for prevention of fatty liver disease. Next is glycerin. Glycerin is responsible for formation of hemoglobin, an important constituent of nucleic acid. All these examples you don't need to remember. If you are remembering all these, it is well and good, but this is not that much important for examination point of view. UGC never goes in these much detail. But all there's albumin, fibrinogen that you need to know. You need to know 2 different categories of amino acid. Essential, non-essential, that is very much important. This you can skip. If you find it very hard to remember, you can skip this. Next is supply of energy. Although protein is not favorite source of our energy for our body, but still when there is deficiency of carbohydrate, our body produces energy from protein, and protein also have same calorific value. Can someone explain this calorific value?
The amount of energy, it is a unit basically.
Amount
of energy per gram.
Yeah,
Gram
of energy produced per gram of any nutrient. So protein have same calorific value like carbohydrate, but it generates lots of waste when it is used as a source of energy. Next is storage. Protein helps in storage of iron and copper. Acid-base balance. Protein helps maintain the acid-base balance of the body fluids by acting as buffers. That protein we discussed, albumin. That albumin protein which helps in maintaining osmolarity, that protein which helps in maintaining the water balance of our blood, that also helps in maintaining the acid base balance, whether our blood will be acidic, whether our blood will be basic. This albumin protein also helps in acid base balance. Pregnant and lactating women, it is obviously the amino acid are responsible for growth of fetus, as our whole body is made up of protein. So fetus growth will be happen with the help of protein only. And for production of milk during lactation, protein is also very much needed. So which hormone is responsible for production of milk? Two hormones are there. Prolactin is released from pituitary, and other hormone is oxytocin.
Prolactin.
Yeah, please keep this clear in your mind. Prolactin is responsible for production of milk. It is responsible for production of milk. Oxytocin is responsible for coming of milk out of mammary gland. Because of this oxytocin, what happened? The muscles of mammary glands got contracted and milk oozes out from mammary gland. So one hormone is responsible for production of milk, and one hormone is responsible for this coming of milk out of the mammary gland. And this oxytocin is also helpful in delivery. When there is normal delivery, the uterus muscles got contracted, and there also this contraction of muscles was carried out by this hormone oxytocin. So please keep the difference in your mind, prolactin and oxytocin. Okay, now let's talk about digestion of protein in stomach. How protein got digested. Okay, actually this is some lengthy topic, and I don't want to continue this topic in two different class. So we will cover this digestion of protein in next class. 10 minutes are remaining. We can talk about sources of protein. Sources of protein. So on the basis of those 9 non-essential, essential amino acid, it is not compulsory to take that non-essential amino acid in diet, because our body is already synthesizing those non-essential amino acid. But it is very much important to take these essential amino acid, because these essential amino acid are not getting produced in our body. What happen if we are not taking these essential amino acid? What will happen?
Is a protein deficiency.
Yeah, it will lead to deficiency of protein, because we are not synthesizing these amino acid. So these essential amino acid are much needed in diet as compared to those non-essential amino acid. That's why whenever we talk about quality of protein, whenever we talk about quality of protein, we will talk on the basis of these 9 essential amino acids. If any source of protein contain all 9 essential amino acids, that will be considered as complete source of protein. And if a source of protein lack any of these 9 essential amino acids, then it will be considered as not complete source of protein or incomplete source of protein. So most of the animal products are complete source of protein, because they have collected every amino acid for their own body. It's humans which are using their body as food, but they have collected all the essential amino acid, all the non-essential amino acid for their own body. That's why in animal sources, whether it is fish, whether it is various type of egg, whether it is dairy product, all the amino acid are present. So these are complete source of protein. Most of the plant sources are incomplete source of protein. In plant, only 2 or 3 sources are there which have complete source of protein. First one is quinoa, and it is also not very much famous in India. It is only limited to some community which are very much interested in the diet and nutrition and all. So quinoa is also not very famous in India. Other one is buckwheat and soya. So three plant source contain all the essential amino acid, and these three are complete source of protein: quinoa, buckwheat, and soya. Soya, it also contains soya bean, and the paneer which we extract from the soya bean, that is known as tofu. So just like milk paneer we extract from milk, tofu we extract from the soya milk, the milk made up of soya bean. These are complete source of protein. And now let's talk about complementary protein. Okay, the following example of plant-based food rich in protein. These are the some plant which are rich in protein: grains, lentils, nuts, beans, legumes. Legumes are very much important source of protein, like chickpeas, kidney beans. These are very good source of protein. Certain fruits, many other nuts, grain, vegetable also contain high amount of protein. So for vegetarian, there is concept of complementary protein. Complementary protein, and we will discuss this in our next class. What is complementary protein? This is also very simple concept. In this class, do you have any doubt?